Hi, everybody, and welcome to our weekly Facebook Live. I'm here with my right-hand girl and all-around savior, Veronica Gazzardi. Hi, Veronica. I'm so happy to welcome all of you here, whether you are part of my community and you're here with me on Zoom, or you're part of my Facebook private group and you're there on the Secrets of Highly Productive People Facebook page, or you're on the public Facebook page, or maybe you're catching this somewhere else, like on the YouTubes or something. I don't know, could be anywhere. Let's start with our breathing. We start everything with our breathing because everything starts with breathing. You can want things to change. You can plead with other people to make things change. You can promise yourself you're going to do things differently. But until you have a state change, right? Until you change the state of your being, everything is going to turn out exactly the same. Let me say that again. Until you have a state change, right? Until you change your way of being in the world right now, everything is going to roll out exactly the way it always has. This is why it's so hard to break habits, right? This is why it's so hard to change things. This is why it's so hard to change other people. Impossible to change other people. Because we don't we keep thinking like, oh, I'm going to do this differently, but from the same point of view that I have right now. It's not going to work. It's like when you're super upset about something and then you let yourself have a good night's sleep and you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, I know the solution. I feel calm and centered. Right, because you gave yourself the chance to have a state change, and then your brain can actually provide you with the answers that you're looking for. But as long as you stay up here and it's like chatter, 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 crazy, 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 nothing's going to change. Luckily, it's very easy to have a state change. Very easy. So we're going to do it right now. We're going to take 3 breaths. We're going to inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. There's nothing woo about it. There's nothing hard about it. You don't have to believe anything. You just have to do it or not do it. You can feel free to ignore it if you want. Prove me wrong. I'm down. So letting your hands be loose and open, letting your belly be really poochy soft, and centering yourself into this moment. Give yourself the gift of this time that we're having together. Stop focusing on other things. This time is for you. You ready? Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you. Thank you for doing that with me. I was remembering that back when I was doing a lot of theater, a lot of live theater, I would, you always try to get to the theater early to warm up and check all your props and center in and all that. But sometimes, you run short on time and don't get a chance to do a full warm up. So I would put my hand on the wall and recite a little poem, even just a fraction of a poem. I think it's a Rumi. I think it's from Rumi. Inside this clay jug, there are canyons and pine mountains, and the maker of canyons and pine mountains. The acid that tests gold is there, and the music from the strings no one touches. If you ask me the truth, I will tell you the truth. Friend, the God that I love is inside. And it would it would center me in and allow me to go on stage, focused like an arrow. You can install these kinds of triggers in your life, right? Again, let's see if we can leverage the power of habits in our favor, right? If your body is habituated to the fact that when you take 3 deep breaths, you settle, your mind calms, the chatter dissipates for a minute, then you will give yourself that space. And the more you do it, the more it will work. And the more it works, the more you'll do it, because the body is a pleasure-seeking mechanism, right? If you tell yourself enough times, when I recite this poem, I become focused and clear, then that will work. You know, when I was a little girl, I remember walking to the bus stop. We took the city bus. I was like 8 when I was taking the city bus alone in Chicago. And I remember kicking a stone down the sidewalk and feeling like, oh, okay, if I kick it just at like a certain magical number of times, then something magical will happen. And I always just decided that however many times I kicked it, was that in fact that number of magical times. And then I would just be on the lookout for what magical thing was going to happen. Right? I primed myself to look for magic in the world. And I was pretty loose on my description of magic. You know, I mean, sometimes I would find a bus token. Sometimes I would see a bird. Sometimes, you know, I don't know. It didn't take very much for make me perceive magic. Oh, Kabir, Bijak of Kabir, of course. Thank you. Let's see. Hi, everybody. Hi, Julie. I don't always do that with you guys because I'm doing TD stuff, but I needed that today. Yeah. Yes, not Rumi, Kabir. Thank you. Julie says, leverage the power of habits in our favor. Yeah, exactly. Good morning, Lori. John Jew 360, can you put that in the chat? Very inspiring, didn't get it all. Which the poem? Sure. It's like I said, it's from the Bijak of Kabir, which is, oh, hold on. Is it right here on my shelf? No. Nasruddin is, though, another irreverent mystic. There it is. Thank you. Veronica is on the case. See, and I skipped some lines, but pretty close. Veronica is consistently on it. Believe me, we should just make her a t-shirt that says on it. Good. So my question to you was, what happens if you stop saying fine? You know, in my family, I have, you know, so I grew up WASP, and we're not known for being particularly expressive about our feelings, which often can be an underrated quality. Sometimes I'm very happy that I've kept my mouth shut about things, and just let them sort of play out, even years later. Other times I wish I were more vocal, sometimes about how I was feeling or how things affect me. But anyway, we're not, you know, we're friendly and loving in my family, but we are not super expressive about our innermost feelings. And particularly my aunt, and we'll call her Mary. That is not her name, but let's say that my Aunt Mary is particularly sort of pulled up and not interested in discussing her feelings. And you can always tell when things are not great with her, because you'll say, so Aunt Mary, how are you? And she'll go, fine. And in my family, we call that Mary fine, which means totally not fine, but I am not discussing it with you right now. So my sister and I will do that to each other. Like, how are you? Fine. Are you Mary fine, or are you actually fine? I'm Mary fine. Like, I'm not fine, but I don't want to talk about it. Okay, cool. So, and even just that bit of clarity of like, no, you're not crazy. I'm not fine. What you're perceiving is accurate. And I don't want to talk about it, right? Which is totally fine. Totally okay. So, and this is just as beneficial across everything. Like, how can you be more specific in your language? How are you? You know, and again, not fine, not busy, not, you know, all the sort of go-to substitute words that we plug in, that are a shorthand, but that don't really express what we actually mean. And you guys are readers and writers and creatives and poets and old souls and curious and inquisitive, wonderful people. So I know you can get behind this. Like, stop saying the same thing everybody else is saying. Stop writing everything the same thing everybody else is writing. Like, just ask yourself to go one step more precise. If I am fine, what do I mean? I mean, that things are going really smoothly. Thank you for asking. I mean, I'm facing a lot of change, but right now it's sort of the calm before the storm. I mean, I'm feeling really turbulent and upset, and I don't even know what to do with these feelings, and I definitely don't want to talk about them right now, but thanks for asking. Right? I mean, what happens if you give people a window into your life like that? If you give them a window into your soul, and you don't notice, I am not telling any of the details, right? The details of your private life are for you and the people engaged with you privately, right? I'm not saying, oh my God, the mortgage is due and the boiler needs replacing and my dog's legs have fallen off and blah, 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 blah. Like, that's complaining, right? Which is also fine with some friends and some people in your life. Some people in your life are, they're there for you to complain to, but most of the rest of us are not. So you can describe how you are feeling and give people a very personal interaction with you without being private, without disclosing any of the details of your private life. Does that make sense? Okay, let me see. I'm missing some chat here. So let me see. Gaynell says, young magic, finding coins in coin operated telephone booths. Oh, that was totally magic. Like if there was a dime there or a nickel. Yeah. Lori says, Louise Penny has a character, Ruth, who says, fine, is fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Yeah. Veronica's teasing me about the dog's legs falling off, which is my example for life chaos. Claire says, I asked people not to tell me their survival stories today. I'm dealing with my own survival story. I think they got it. Yeah, exactly. That is a perfectly reasonable request, Claire. Say like, tell me something that's working for you. Tell me something you're happy about. Tell me something that you're looking forward to. I do these trainings that then get published on LinkedIn Learning. If you have access to LinkedIn Learning, you should check them out. There's like 10 or 11 of them. They're very popular. We are over 800,000 people watching those videos worldwide. 800,000. That means we're going to get to 1 million pretty soon, because we were like 400,000 at the beginning of this year. So, and it's sort of growing exponentially. Anyways, the number one training there is how to stop wasting time in meetings. And one of the pieces of advice, the number one piece of advice I give in that is, what is the point of this meeting? Do you know what the point of this meeting is? Do you have an objective for this meeting? Does everybody else in the room understand what is the point of this meeting? That's the quick version. But one of the other things that I suggest doing, that I've learned from a number of businesses I've worked with, including Keep and Fusionsoft, is start the meeting with positive focus. So you go around the room and just say, hey, everybody, let's have a little positive focus. Like, what's going well in your life, in your work, in your career, in your home life, and whatever. And even just, Jimmy did great at his Frisbee tournament the other day. And, I just finished a needlepoint pillow or whatever. And it's lovely for a couple of reasons. One, it gives people a chance to get to know each other personally, right? Oh, I do needlepoint too. Oh, my daughter plays Frisbee tournaments. Like, now all of a sudden you have a little more connection with each other. It also, emotions are contagious, right? If you start out smiling and nodding, other people will start smiling and nodding. If you start out looking stern and tapping your foot and looking at your watch, everybody else is going to start looking stern and looking at their watch too. You can do it. Try it like in an airport terminal or something. It's spooky, but emotions are highly contagious. So you start with a positive focus, all of a sudden everybody gets a little lifted up. The third reason it works is that it gets everybody's voice into the room right away. So all those people who are likely to just sit back and not say anything have to speak right away. And if you want participation in your meetings, you have to get them talking right away. This is what we learned doing improvisation, right? If you want to take suggestions from the audience, you have to ask them for a suggestion almost in the first 2 or 3 minutes of the show, because otherwise they've gotten used to sitting back in their chair. If you wait 20 minutes, they're going to be like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything, right? So you have to train them. You have to let them get their voices in right away. So, so you're perfectly within your rights to say, please don't tell me your survival story. Please tell me something lovely that's happened lately, and connect with people on that level, and to really put up boundaries against how much people dump on you. Because if you're one of those people that people dump on, that's not all them. It's you, right? So you got to start training them differently. All right. Let's see. Leslie says, can relate to turbulent and upset. Darn it. Yeah. But I find that once I admit to being turbulent and upset, once I actually say that out loud, like it kind of calms me down, and having somebody else know that they've heard me. They go like, oh man, that hurts. That's gotta suck. Be like, yeah, it kind of does. Um, like a lot of people, I've lost a number of people close to me in the last couple of years. And I was just exchanging Instagram messages with another person I know who's also lost. She lost her brother recently. And really, I just sent her a message that was just like, hey, I'm thinking about you. And, you're in my heart. And we don't have to go into the whole thing about what grief is like or how we're dealing with it or whatever. I just wanted to send her like a little, I get it. I see you. And she wrote back, she was like, yep, right back at you. I'm like, yeah. And that sense of community around feeling where you don't feel ashamed, you don't feel like you have to hide it. We don't have to go into it. I don't need to, if you want to go into it, there's venues for that too. But it's really beneficial to say the truth and get witnessed, right? It's really all we can do for each other is be enlightened witnesses for one another. Is there a book that represents words on a scale? There is a book. See, this is what happens when you move, is all your books move. But there's a book for writers that's like an emotional glossary. It's behind me somewhere. Sorry, I can't think of what it's called. But it's a book for writers, and it doesn't so much rank them, but it provides a lot of a whole, like I said, a whole vocabulary of emotions, so you can, be a better, more accurate writer. Julie said, I opened a conversation this morning with a neighbor I'd never met who said, hi, how are you? By responding, cold but happy. We ended up talking long enough for me to completely bond with his dog. Right. So that's just distinctive enough to cold but happy. There's nothing like hugely revelatory about that, but it gives a good sense of who Julie is as a person, and gives them something to talk about. Oh, I know it's been cold, right? But it's such a cheerful time of year. I know, me too, right? This is all we want. It's just little bridges between each other. We're neighbors. We don't have to be best friends. And getting to know someone's dog is a high point of every day, right? I have a friend who answers, how are you, with, I'm amazing. And then he just looks right in your eyes and smiles and says, just like you. Talk about a state shift. Right, exactly. Especially if, and so your friend uses that as a state shift for themselves. They use that cue. How are you? How am I? Oh, I remember. I'm amazing, just like you. It's an opportunity for a blessing, right? Good. These are helpful. John says, I'm struggling with my family, yet so happy that I'm gaining so much clarity on my life's purpose. Good for you, babe. And I got to tell you, do not discuss your life purpose with your family. It is the very rare cat who's got somebody in their family who actually understands what they do and why. So don't even, like I always say, don't go to the empty cookie jar. Do not ask for support from people who are not capable of supporting you, or their version of support is to be discouraging because they want to keep you safe, right? So if they start asking you, you just turn it around back on them. Ask them about themselves, ask them about their garden, ask them about their business, ask them about their kids, ask them about anything. Just turn it around. We only take advice from people who are better at what we do than we are, and paying customers. And even them, not always. All right, I'll say that again. We only take advice from people who are better at what we do than we are, and paying customers. And it can be hard. I remember having lunch with my old boss, with Sam Christensen, after I had left his employ after about 15 years. And, my business was just kind of starting up and getting going. And I was seeing some success. It was exciting. And we go to lunch. And Sam, who knew everything, had an opinion or a fact about everything. And he says, look, Samantha, I really have to talk to you. He goes, you're sending way too many emails. It's just too many. I mean, they're very well written and they're delightful, but it's just too many. You have to slow down on the emails because you're going to, You're gonna wear people out. You just can't do it like that. I'm like, oh, and I was crushed. I was like, oh no, oh, this is terrible. I've screwed up so badly. And Sam's thinking poorly of me. And oh no, I was devastated. And then I got in the car to drive. So we finished lunch and I got in the car to drive home. And I was like, wait a minute. Sam Christensen, for all his magnificent qualities, was the single worst person at marketing his own business in the entire world. He could help you market your thing forever, but he couldn't do it for himself at all. I'm like, this person knows nothing about email marketing, and I just won an award for email marketing. So you know what? He's not better at this than I am. I will take his advice on 100 things, but not this. And it was a real growing up moment. I was like, oh shit, look at me. Willing to essentially say to my father, for a man who is for all intents and purposes my father, say, thank you for your opinion. And I will also tell you, if no one is complaining about your marketing, you are not doing enough marketing. If no one's complaining about your prices, you're not charging enough. If no one's complaining about your marketing, you are not doing enough marketing. Right? Okay. Emotional thesaurus. Thank you, Beth. Yes, emotion thesaurus. Yes, exactly. See, I knew you guys would know what I mean. Veronica says it's like the grief high five. It's totally like the grief high five. Dude, yep. Claire says, my neighbors and I are bonding over the rescued cat adopted from next door. I found out my neighbor is a stand-up and we're going to go see her perform. Oh, that's so fun. Oh, how great. Gail says, I'm looking for something more general than emotion specific. Lori says, I better do more marketing. Heck yeah, girl. Heck yeah. You got a book that's going to help a lot of people. You got to get it out there. You got to start bugging people about it. And the thing, Lori's book is about helping people deal with death and grief. And particularly like the paperwork part of it, which can be kind of overwhelming. And the thing to remember about marketing, and this is kind of especially when it's something to do with grief and death and dying, is that people don't know they need it until the day they need it. Right? So they're going along every day like, oh yeah, there's Lori and her thing, whatever. And then the day is going to come when they're like, oh shit, I've got to settle my father's estate. Where do I even start? Wait a minute. There's that woman who has that book, right? That's what you want to be, is that when they go to that, because they don't need it every day of their lives. It's like the 5-day challenge we've got coming up. Lots of you are going to go, no, I don't need, I'm good. I don't need a 5-day challenge. But sometime in between now and then you might go, oh, you know what? I could really stand to get my shit together a little bit. I could really stand to have some focused time and attention on this project. Would really love to start the year out with a big sort of rocket fueled push and not be that person who stops going to the gym on February 15th, right? I'd like to join the 90-day get it done lab because I need that productivity sprint. I need that community. I want to be lifted up in that way. But until you have that moment, until something happens, you're not going to need it, right? Nobody needs a ball gown until they get invited to a ball. So you have to keep getting out there and being really consistent with your message so that when they get invited to a ball, when they start feeling like, oh, I'm going to need some support on my projects, I'm going to need help navigating my father's estate, they know who to call. That's the whole part of marketing, is getting them to know you, like you, and trust you so that when they need you, they think of you first. Right? And if you don't do any marketing or enough marketing when they get invited to the ball or they have to navigate their father's estate, they're going to Google and they're going to go to somebody. They're just going to find somebody else. Right? So you need to sort of take up that corner of space in their mind. Again, when I was working full-time as an actor, we would send postcards. It was sort of pre-internet. So I'd send postcards about when I was in a show or was doing a television appearance or something. And all I ever wanted was for the casting director to look at the picture on the postcard and the little thing that said what I was doing and go, oh yeah, her. That's it. Oh yeah, her. And better yet, oh yeah, her, the tall girl. Oh yeah, her, I know her. That's it. You just want to stay top of mind in some way. Veronica says, God, this challenge is going to be so fun. It's always a good sign when we're getting more hyped while we're building the thing. It's true. It's true. Veronica and I are in the back, like going, oh, and we could do this. And oh, and we can add that. And oh, we could do this. And how about this? This will be cool. And this could be really short, but really powerful. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're psyched. We're super psyched. So yeah, that's all we're going for is, oh yeah, her. Like, you're not looking for your marketing, like, change people's lives. You just want them to go, oh yeah, her. Or if somebody says, oh my gosh, I just got invited to a ball, or oh my gosh, I got to navigate my father's estate, for you to be able to be the one who goes, oh wait, I know somebody. Who do I know? Oh yeah, her. Right? So that's what we do. Oh yeah, her. And the more specific you can be in your language about what we do, the more memorable you would be, because the truth is memorable. The truth, baby, is indelible, right? When is the 5-day challenge? I'm so glad you asked. It's January. Hold on. Oh, where's the piece of paper? Hold on, I can tell you exactly what it is. It's the Monday the 9th through Saturday the 14th. Yeah, we start January 9th. And I'll warn you right now, it's a paid challenge. It's not free. Why isn't it free? Because I want you to give a shit and show up. I love giving away things for free. Obviously, I've done this every week for 1,000 years. Free with me as much as you want to ask me questions. But what I've noticed is that if I don't charge, people don't care. So we're not charging a lot. It's not very expensive, but, and I think you'll find it worth it. And if you don't find it worth it, of course, I will cheerfully give you your money back. No problem. But I think you will find even just one of the sessions incredibly valuable, much less all 6. We're going to do 5 days and then a bonus day on Saturday. Let's see. So you'll start seeing we're going to start sending emails about it this weekend. So keep an eye on your email box and sign up for the 5-day challenge. Woo! Julie says there's the vague fine, and then there's the kind of obscene fine, where I'm keenly aware that is another 4-letter word that begins with F. And then there's the fine I love, like, and he's so fine. Yeah, that's cool. And I like the idea of being more precise, creative, and sparkling positive in how I enter or respond. Yeah, truth is indelible. The truth is indelible. Good. Well, this has been a delightful half hour. I think we'll come back around to doing some of our 15-minute challenges during this half-hour things. We've gotten away from that a little bit, and I know how much you guys like it, so I think we might do 1 or 2 of those. But definitely mark your calendars. 5-day challenge, the 9th through the 14th, and then the next Get It Done Lab starts the 21st of January. And I know a lot of you are already enrolled in that, so I'm really excited to kick off this year with some really well-managed expectations. I'm not much of a BHAG person. I'm not much of a, like, set a bold, audacious goal, like 10x your, I mean, sometimes 10xing can be fun, but really, I don't know. I sort of feel like we're all just like groundhogs coming out, like, wait, what's happening? What's been happening the last 3 years? Help, I've been trapped in my house. So I just want to give you the opportunity to move forward in a sensible, loving way on the stuff that matters to you. That's it. What matters to you? I don't give a shit if it matters to anybody else. I want you spending time every single day, 15 minutes a day, on whatever it is that matters to you. All right. 5-day challenge. What time each day? It's at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And it's going to be short. It's going to be, I think there'll be like half-hour sessions, maybe an hour, but we're not going to go on and on and on like some of these do for like 2 or 3 hours a day. I want you to also have a life. So, and part of the idea is, right, small movements that create a big result. So, yeah, so that's what that is. And if you're already in lab, then you're already enrolled in the 5-day challenge. How about that? So you don't have to pay. You're already enrolled. It's free to lab members. Yes, and it will be recorded, so you'll be able to refer back anytime. Yeah, great. Well, happy almost New Year, everybody. Hooray, hooray. Thank you. Yes, big cheers. And I'm excited to see what 2023 is bringing. Oh, also, if you're not on my email list, for crying out loud, get on my email list, because I just sent out the broader invitation to Crete. Amy and I, my best friend Amy Ehlers and I, have been running retreats to Belize the last couple of years. They always sell out. They've been hugely successful and so beautiful and fun and juicy, just dynamite. And so in October, we're going to Crete, which is a lifelong dream of mine. And right now the early bird price is still up. So if you go to barefootperfect.com, barefootperfect.com, you can see the whole retreat laid out, the entire itinerary, all of it. And there's an application button. You can just fill out the application. There's no obligation. There's nothing to buy right now. Just fill out the application, see how it feels. We'll look at your application. If it's a yes, we'll say yes, great, sign up. If it's a maybe, we'll say, hey, let's talk about this and see if it's a good fit. And if you're just dreaming, or you're like, I can't really go, I just wanted to fill out the application and see what it felt like, we'll say, God bless you, we love you. Of course, right? We want to support you in your dreams and not hassle you to take a trip that you're not going to take. So barefootperfect.com. And Beth says, best thing ever. I think so too. Hi, Beth Parker. Great to see you. Yes, it's been a minute. Julie says the whole challenge feels so doable, and that feels like a grand relief. Well, that's it, right? We don't want to overload. We want to do small, measurable steps that then lead to quantum leaps. That's what I notice, is when you do these small, measurable steps, even things like changing the word fine out for something more precise, you can get an exponential result. So put all that in the rock tumbler, see how it comes out, and I will look forward to seeing you in 2023. You ready? Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for doing this with me. Thanks, Veronica.